Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. And by the grace of God, I'm also doing well. But before I start the meeting, I want to take off my hat so that you see my face well. It seems the light is not really working well. And before I continue, I would like to say that I'm very happy for the kind of feedback I've received from some of you concerning the meeting that we had the other day. So far, the feedback or all the comments I have received from you are positive. Not only the last Saturday meeting, but I think for quite some time now, I have been talking and chatting with some of you, and the feedback I'm getting from you are very positive. So I'm happy about that. That encourages me. The feedback encourages me to do more. So I'm happy to continue to work with you. So I want you to also to continue to work with me. Today, I want to focus on the third part of the video. And this video is going to focus basically on the issues and the comments that were raised during our meeting. So the three things I'm going to focus on are going to be, let me share my screen so that we all get it together. So the three things I'm going to focus on today are going to be based on one, on the referencing style. I think Sami and Jacinta, David, and Co. You commented on the referencing, and even you asked me to help you out as to how to go about referencing your work when you are writing a literature review. Okay, so today I'll take you through that. Then the second thing I will take you through is the analysis section. I think either Jacinta or whatever also raised a concern as to how to go about the analysis, because it was a little bit confusing in terms of how the analysis was done. So today I'm going to take my time to take you through that and show you how I did a content analysis, or how to go about content analysis and thematic analysis. In addition to these analysis, I'll also show you the analytical approaches, which we can also term as the techniques or the methods that we use to analyze the selected data that you have taken from the academic databases. So how do you go about analyzing them? Because it's one thing getting the data, it's another thing analyzing, examining, assessing them. So how do you go about that? I think it was a very good comment that one of you raised. And then I think the last thing I would do today is that I will take you through your responsibilities once again, because some of you were not around when the meeting. I even didn't know that Kenneth was not around, because it's only after the meeting that I got an email from Kenneth, and he emailed a message from Kenneth, and he was telling me he was not able to make it, and he explained it. I accepted his apology, and I told him that's fine, because what he explained or the reasons that he gave to me were very sound reasons. So I accepted them. So I want to repeat the responsibility, the work I've given to you. I'll go through it again. I'll go through each and everyone's responsibility so that you get to know what you are supposed to do briefly before I'll sign out. So without wasting time, I would like to start with the referencing style, and I'll show you how to do referencing. Okay, so there are two ways of doing referencing. I would say there are two main ways. The first one, I would say you can do a manual referencing. Manual referencing is where you decide to do the referencing yourself. And when I say you decide to do the referencing yourself, I mean you pick whoever you are trying to cite and then put them into your work. So for example, let me give you just an example here. I've written manual references. So if I want to reference myself, what I have to do is Akomea-Frimpong. This is in test. I'll come back to that one again, but for the meantime, let me focus on these two. I'll come back to what we got in test referencing and then the referencing list. So Akomea-Frimpong 2022. Okay, so this is manual. I've done this manually. This one is not a software that helped me to come up with this. So this is a manual referencing. I've done it manually. Okay, then there is a software aided referencing. In other words, with this one, you use a software to help you out to do the referencing. So the ones that we have currently, which are very popular and popular, they have the same words in a way. Common in academia now that a lot of people use, they include things like EndNote. Some of you have heard of it. I think Mendeley, and others. At least these are the two that I know. And also this size score, I think so either size score or size something. Yeah. Okay. Today we are going to use the Google. We are going to use Google a lot to help us to find some things and explain some things. So software, let's find out software for referencing. Good. So I'm not wrong. Yeah. So if you look at them, these are some of them. So the one which is very popular currently in academia that a lot of people use. Many people are using it. That's EndNote. EndNote is very popular. And I thank God I have one here. We have Zotero. We have Latex and Biptest, Mendeley, as I've mentioned, RefWorks, citation generators. So these things will help you. They are software. They are software. So this one is not you who is going to sit down and put anything. So all that you need as far as these softwares are concerned is that wherever you want to, or whatever you want to cite, let me give you an example. So if you go to your academic database, either Google Scholar or Scopus or Web of Science, the academic databases I explained to you in the first video. All that you need to do is whatever you are searching for. Let's assume I'm doing, once again, I'm going to cite myself in this context. So something like share this. Okay. So all that I need to do is that when I come here, what I need to do is that I need to just click on. So you can even see the types of software that you can use to do the referencing here. If you look at Google Scholar, they have even given you the option. They are there. Biptest, EndNote, RefMan, and RefWorks. So the one that you have, in my case, I have EndNote. So I'll just click on EndNote, and then it will download that file for me, as far as my referencing is concerned. And another good thing that Google Scholar has done, which other databases they have also done, which I'll take you there, is that they also show you the types of referencing styles, which I'll come to it later on. Yeah, this one also I'll come back to it later on. Okay, so when you open this in the Google, so in the EndNote, all that you have to do is that you just put an EndNote by you. Okay, find a way to minimize the EndNote, and also find a way to minimize your document. I'm talking about your Word document. You minimize that one as well. So you do it side by side. When you do it side by side, you just click on it and you drag. So for example, I want to cite this. You just drag this. And when you drag it, when you come here, already is here. So I just want to put it on. I'm going to put it on because it was off. Okay. If you have not installed it, you have to find a way of installing it. So I have cited this document. And one thing about these software is that once you put the referencing or the reference, the in-text references in there, it will automatically generate the referencing list for you. Okay, unlike the manual referencing, where if I did Akomea 2022 or Akomea et al. Okay, this is 2020. Akomea et al. 2020. Et al. Here means Akomea and Co. or Akomea and the rest. So 2020. Unlike the manual one, where after I have done this is in-text. When we say in-text, the in-text referencing comes within the work. So let me show you one manuscript that we have developed not too long ago. And this manuscript is about towards attainment of climate smart PVP, critical review of what's going on? This one is not working. In the word. Okay. Okay, I think there's a problem. And the IT guys are supposed to resolve it. Let me use the Word document. So if you look at the Word document, what we call in-text references or in-text referencing is the one within the main body of the article or the main body of the document that you are putting together. And then the references that comes, the references that will come or that come after you have finished putting everything together within the main document or the main body is what we call the referencing list. So this is an example of what we call referencing list. So it's a list of references, all the references that we put within the work. Okay. So another circumstance, once again, if you are using manual referencing, which I know we all do it back in Ghana, because I know it is so hard for schools and individuals to get opportunity to buy EndNote, because EndNote as you see, is as I'm using it here, is not free. I have an opportunity to use it because my school has a license. My school has purchased it. I'm using it. Many schools don't have that opportunity to purchase it. Is that okay? Yeah. So that's what you have to understand. So if you are supposed to do that, then what will happen is that once you don't have the software, when you finish putting all the in-text references within the work, at the end of the day, you have to come and find out the references yourself and put them in a list in an alphabetical order. Okay, that's just like how I have done it. But if you have this software, the software will automatically do this thing for you. Immediately you cite, just as I have done here, as I was showing to you with it. Immediately you put this reference in here, it will automatically generate the referencing list for you. Now let me do a second one so that you get this thing very well. So that you get to know that what I'm saying is not just I'm just saying anything, but it's something that is real. Let me take this example, the BC, whatever. Let me pick this one. So when you open this in your EndNote and you want to cite it, what will happen is that immediately you click on it and you drag the document to wherever you want to cite it. Let's assume I'm putting it here. Immediately you put it on it, the thing will automatically generate. So let's go down. You see that I've generated. Okay, that is when you are using a software aided referencing technique or approach. But if you are using a manual approach, which once again, as I said, we have been using it back in Ghana. That's the start. In Ghana, Africa, we have been using this, where after you have written your document, what you have to do, or what we have been doing, is to go back and go and find all the reference. To me, the disadvantage is that the likelihood, which I remember used to happen to me, is that it's likely you miss so many of them. And when I say you miss so many of them, you forget. No, because at the end of the day, maybe, for example, this paper, we are having almost about 150 or so articles that we cited. If you don't take care, the possibility that you miss some of them or you not bring some of them into the list is very high because you have done it manually. But if you use your software, which is an advantage of the software, there's no way you are going to miss any of the references because they match. The in-test, the in-test, the in-test references, they match with the referencing list. So with the web software, there's no way, it's not possible. There's no way you will miss any of the references. Okay, so well, I understand many of you, your situation now, but in future, you get opportunity to do that. Good. Then there's another way too. It's not only even in future. Don't wait for even future. I know some people use Mendeley back in Ghana. Because recently I spoke to someone and the person told me that they're using Mendeley. So if it is possible, you can get access to Mendeley. I will encourage you to use Mendeley. Mendeley is a severe EndNote is for clarity, which is Web of Science. EndNote work with is a Web of Science clarity with Thomson chain routers product. But Mendeley is more of Elsevier. Yeah, I think Mendeley is Elsevier. Yes, I'm not wrong. Once again, I'm correct. I'm right. So it's a reference developed by Elsevier. It is used to manage and share research papers and generate bibliographies for scholarly articles. Yeah, so it is for them. But EndNote is for clarity. Okay, EndNote is for clarity, which is also, yeah, the original author Clarivate. And Clarivate currently owns what we call Web of Science. Okay, yeah, so these are the popular ones, but other ones are also there, which the Google Scholar help us to know. If you go back to Google Scholar and click any of them to show you that other ones like BibTeX, RefMan, and RefWorks. Okay, good. So to me, if you ask me, the best thing is to use a software aided referencing style to make your work easier. But if you don't have it, you can do it manually. But if you are doing it manually, let me help you with a manual one. When you are doing it manually, to me, create another worksheet, something like a Word document. So whilst you are doing your referencing manually, make sure you create this referencing list beside it, so that at the end of the day, whatever reference that you do in test, it will be on your referencing list. Because once again, as I mentioned, it's possible at the end of the day you may forget. It's highly possible that you may forget the in-test references that you could have put there. It happened to me a lot, especially when I used to write my first 2 or 3 papers. which I did in Ghana when I was doing my master's, 2018, 2017, thereabout. In 2016, I remember I used to put together articles and then put them out there. And then the comments I used to get from reviewers and journals, they used to say that you have put some references in your document, what is the index, the main body, but they have not been referenced, or they have not been added to the referencing list. I used to get that in a lot. Yeah, and I understand it's likely, it's highly possible. It's highly possible you can do that. That is why, to me, I think the software is better. With the software, once you put the index there, it will automatically generate the referencing list for you. And that's the end of the story. Okay, so that is it. And then, okay, so I've also explained what we mean, or what is the meaning of in-text referencing and then referencing lists. So I think I've also explained that to you. So the one that you put in the main body of the work is what we call in-text. Let me write the thing so that it will not be like I'm saying something that you don't understand. In-text references or referencing. And then this is the referencing list. Okay, good. Once again, I think Sami also asked about who are you supposed to, that's Sami or David also asked, who are you supposed to cite and how are you supposed to cite a person? It depends on what you read. I think we had an extensive discussion on this on Saturday. It depends on what you have read. It depends on what document, what article is relevant to whatever you are writing. You can't just start referencing anybody because you go to Google Scholar, you see so many references, so you just pick anybody and be referencing. When you are writing about something like maybe PPP, yes, you can come here, look for PPP articles. And even with the PPP articles, you have to select the one which is relevant. That is why, once again, I believe the things that I have taught you in the first and the second videos are very important in terms of, if you want to conduct a research, to me, the best thing is first conduct a literature review to identify the most relevant articles, which will help you to write your research. Okay, now let me take you to, what about, so far I've shown you Google Scholar. What about if I want to get data from any of the other academic databases if I have access to them? So once again, here I think it will be difficult for you guys or anyone who is not having access to something like Scopus and all that, because once again here, my school has access licenses to it. I don't know whether KNUST, Legon, and other universities they do. So if your university has access to any of the academic databases, what you have to do is, I'm going to show you an example. So for example, if I go to Scopus, it's part of the references, so I'm just showing you how to go about that. Okay, then when I finish, I'll also show you, if you want to start writing something, how do you go about it in terms of the referencing, and if you are in the middle, how do you go about it? So let me just give you something quick, so we don't waste too much time. So for example, maybe I'm just writing about something about climate change. With climate change, I just want to limit the search to papers in 2024. Please, the reason why I'm doing this is I just want the thing to be limited so that I can easily quickly download and show you. It doesn't mean that my focus is on 2024 or something, but I just want some few or a small number of articles that we can use in this tutorial. So I'm just going to focus on articles which are going to be published in 2024 concerning climate change. So it's 7. So the 7, if I click on this and I go down to limits, I'm going to have my 7 articles. So I have my 7 documents. So how do I download this and then reference them when I'm using them for my work? So all that I have to do is like how you do it in Google Scholar. You select all of them, then you come to download. First, you can download, and with the download, it will give you the actual article, that's the PDF version. But if you want to export the references, so you click on this export, and then it will tell you the types of reference where you can put the references. In fact, the Scopus will even give you something like even Excel. It will even give you the Excel version of the references of the document that you are trying to download. Yeah, it can give you that. So I'm going to do the 2 so that you see how they work. I don't have BIP test. That's why I don't want to open it, because I don't have that software. I don't have plain text. I don't have this. I don't have RevWorks. I don't have CVAR. We saw this in the Google Scholar. But I have EndNote. I have EndNote and Excel. So I'm going to do the 2. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to try the EndNote, and I finish, I come and do the Excel and show you. With the Excel, it will come in the form of a normal Excel sheet, which will show you all the references, the year that they were published, and all that. But one thing about the Excel is that with the Excel, you can only use it to do manual referencing, because that one is the Excel is not really a software, so you cannot use that to do it. Well, so far, it's possible there may be, maybe some of you can explore further. It's possible you can use the Excel to reference the document that you are trying to use in your research, but so far I have not used it before. So I don't want to give you something, I don't want to tell you something that I have not done, which is going to create confusion in your head. But if you have Mendeley, you can do the same. So even with this, when you are selecting, it's not everything that is important. Okay, select the most relevant items, or select the relevant one. But in here, because it's EndNote, I'm going to select everything. But when it comes to Excel, I can decide to select the ones which are important and leave the ones which are not important. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to download, select all of them. Okay, so now I click on that, and let's go to when I open, it open a file for me. And when I open, all my 7 articles are here. So with this one, if I want to use any of them for my work, let me get something I think I did today. There's some work today, so let me quickly use that. Okay, let me use about, I'm going to use 2 of the factors and forget about the rest, so that we can quickly use them for our work. Here's an example that I'm using this one as just an example. So if I want to cite, I click on this, for example, maybe this statement or sentence in this referencing. So I just do that. Okay, I think the EndNote is off, so I'll put it on. Right, check. Okay, good. The EndNote is off, so I've just done that. And immediately I do that, you can see that it has given me the references. Once again, as I said, some of the things were not important. It has given me so many things that I don't need as far as the references are concerned. Yeah, because it has even given me further in the referencing list, it's giving me all this. But when I'm doing it, I have to take these things out because they are things that I don't need. What I need is the first system. And no, that's not how they come. It's this one that is this way. It will come in this form. Immediately I put the index there, I get a reference to generate a reference in this for me. Let me take another sentence, another sentence. Let's say this. Maybe I do that into the index, I get this one as well. Once again, I think it's because I selected everything, because if you're not supposed to select everything, it's giving me abstract and all that, which are not. And that's not how it's supposed to come. Okay, so I think with this one, you understand it as to how to do that. With respect to the Excel, let me show you the Excel. With respect to the Excel, you just click on the Excel and then you click on export. It will give you an Excel sheet in the form of CSV, which is just a normal Excel. Okay, so this is how the thing will come. As again, because I selected all, it has given me everything, but there are many things I don't need. So because I don't need so many of the things, I just want to limit the items. So I need the author's name, the document title, the year the paper was published. The citation count, I don't need it. Do I need these things? They are not important. Affiliations, I don't need abstracts for anything. Acronym, sponsor, no. So, okay, source title is important. And then document type and source, I think is also important. So these are the things that I need. So you see how it will come. See how it has come. The names of the authors are there, the title of the article or the articles, and then the year. So with this one, it is good for you when you are doing manual referencing, because with this one you can look at, okay, so these people, I read the article, and you take their first names and then you do the reference. I'll take you to the types of references very soon. Is that okay? Good. Yeah, so that's how to go about it. Now let's come to once again, as I said, I have not used Excel to do this thing before. I don't want to say that I know maybe there's a way or you can explore further. Now let's come to the types of referencing styles. But before we come to the referencing styles, the question is, how do you go about this whole reference, whether you are using a software or manual approach? Okay, so I want to show you something. If you want to reference something, and I'm going to show you the statement, and then the things that will make you do. Will let you put an Excel. Is it Excel? The reference either at the end of the sentence or statement, or at the beginning of the statement. Okay, so for example, this is I said, or we are saying that the design of PPP projects such as schools, hospitals, roads embrace a long life framework with guarantees of repairs when they are in operation. This is more of like a normal statement. Okay, a normal statement. Good. But if I make something like, or if I write something like, according to so and so, green finance is, or circular economy is this. According to, with that, in that case, or with that one, it is better you start the statement with the references or the referencing. Okay, so let me do something. Good. So the default references or interest referencing is normally we put it there with the intention that that statement or that phrase or that thing that you are trying to say, you got the idea from this kind of person. But when this same interest referencing changes to this form, where you can see that now the brackets don't start from Pereira, but Pereira or whatever, but rather it starts from what the 2024 begins. Then this one is going to be more of something that is starting as a statement or something that you emphatically you are trying to declare. So you can say Pereira Boaventura or Boaventure or whatever. It's 2024 mentioned that these are some of the words, or stated that, or reiterated that, or emphatically declared that. Okay, with this one, maybe it's a book or it's an article, but you have read it and you have that kind of like both. The two of them are not the same. With that, the first one that I was trying to show to you, like this one with the name comes at the end of the statement, or the reference, the index reference comes at the end of the sentence. It's more, that's where you got the idea, or you got the idea, or it's more of somehow similar to what somebody has said. But with the ones where the index referencing is starting the sentence or the statement or the phrase, then that one, it is more of like, it's an authoritative statement or a sure statement or something that you are 100% aware that that's what those people they have said. Okay, so you, for example, maybe you say that according to normally the word like according to, or somebody mentioned, or somebody stated, or somebody gave examples, or somebody said that. Those ones tend to start the sentences or the statement. And with that one, the names will come out, and then the year will rather be in the bracket. Whilst the other one, which will come at the end of the sentence, that one, the name or the names, if they are more than, the names are more than one, they will come within the bracket with the year. That's how you go about this. Okay, good. So I think this issue is settled. If anybody you still have an issue, you have any question that you want to ask me, you can ask me later on. Now let's come to the types of referencing styles. Yeah, so now I'm going to draw more on the referencing style. We have types of referencing styles. There are a number of them. In fact, I will not limit you to one or two. Because the issue is that if you look at, for example, EndNote, EndNote has so many, EndNote call it how-to styles. Where is it? Yeah, EndNote call it how-to styles, and then a number of them. There are plenty. There are plenty. We have thousands of referencing styles. In fact, if you take even APA, there are types of APAs. So I would never tell you that, oh, stick to one or two referencing styles. But in this tutorial, I'm going to focus on about 2 or 3 or 4 of them, which are very popular. Okay, but we have plenty. And normally, the referencing styles are related to journals or the outlet in which you're going to publish your research. Because I have been to UBIA conference, the one that I presented 2 weeks ago, where I presented the net zero emission targets conference paper. I've been to Akomea in UK, and then I have also submitted articles to a couple of journals. And all these journals and conferences and all that, they have their own way of going about their referencing. Yeah, in fact, I've encountered, including CV and all the mirroring, I have encountered about at least from where I said I've encountered about 7 different referencing styles. The referencing styles are many, 20 of them, depending on the body or the journal or the research outlet, whether being it's a conference or it's a book or it's whatever that they are going to publish your work. They will tell you the kind of referencing style that they want you to use. That is why always every journal that you want to publish your paper in, they will give you what we call author's guide. I'm going to show you one. Good. So you always see this. So always, please, always, any journal you want to submit your article to, always read this author guidelines for manuscript submission. Always, because the referencing style of journal A may be different from journal B. It may even be it may happen that they are all journals hosted by the same organization. For example, Emerald Insights hosts a number of journals, but you find out that, or it's possible you may find out that these journals have their own way of going about their referencing. The same thing applies to Elsevier and all that. So always, one of the requirements that if you want to submit any article anywhere in this world, they will tell you that read their submission guidelines, author's guidelines, and within that, they will tell you the kind of referencing style that they want. If you like, look at this one. This is Nature, one of the topmost journals in the world. They publish more scientific research and normally new discoveries in science. And this is one of the journals where if you get your paper published, it will be discussed in one of the top mainstream media organizations in the world. So for example, this one, they have their referencing style. We don't copy edit your reference, therefore it's essential you format them correctly. So they will tell you to format your work to suit their referencing style. And they will tell you the specific referencing style that they want you to use. Okay, yes. With this one, what did they use? Let me see. They will tell you the type, whether it's Harvard, AP, or whatever. But even if they don't tell you, they will show you something like this. They will give you examples. So please, it's something that you have to look at. Don't just finish writing your article and just submit. In fact, I've had experiences where my paper a paper of mine has been rejected. It was rejected because I didn't follow author's guideline. Okay, so always follow the author's guideline so that you don't get a rejection of your paper. With that one said, we come back again to the referencing style. So once again, there are a number of referencing styles, but there are some of them which are very popular and common that many people use all over the world. Okay, very common. So the ones which are very popular, I'll take you there. The common ones. The popular ones include, okay, please, all the rights, all the copyright and everything is for Western Sydney University. It's not mine. So it's not something that I've prepared on my own. It's what I'm using Western Sydney University's referencing this in their sites. So if you see anything, yes, for them, because I don't want any copyright issues. So that to be like it's me who prepared it, it's for them. In other words, it's not a bad thing. It's not like I'm doing anything bad, but just that I have to acknowledge them that it's their website. Yeah. Maybe when you look at KNUSU website, if you look at their library, they also may put some referencing stuff, but it's almost the same. Okay, so the popular ones that many universities and many students use, these are the popular ones. The first one is called APA. which is American Psychology Association. They are referencing style. APA is very popular. Okay, so how do you go about APA? Please, I can't go through with you. It is your responsibility to go and read further. Okay, go ahead. This is free. It's free online. And there are versions of APA. The current one, which everyone is using all over the world, is the 7th edition. The 7th edition of APA, American Psychological Association, Psychological Association Referencing Style Guide. It is free online. Kindly download it and read it. Once again, as I told you about 2 days or 3 days ago, academia is a difficult job. The reason why it is difficult is that you have to read everything. You have to read. You have to be somebody who loves reading. Reading should be part of you, just like you drinking water. Yeah, so please read it. I can't take you through one by one. If I decide to do that, then we are not going to finish this tutorial session. Okay, so APA is very popular. And I think many people use APA. Many schools, many students, many academics, they use APA. That's the first one. And I think that's the most popular one. Yeah. If you are ranking them percentage-wise, I can give APA about 30 to 50% because many people know APA. Many students, many lecturers, many professors, whatever, they use APA. The second one, which is very popular, is what we call Harvard referencing style. And even the Harvard referencing style, for example, Western Sydney University, we have our own way that we have also found a way to work on it, modify it to suit the university. That's why, once again, I mentioned that we have different types of referencing style. So you can't just rely on only one, or you can't just say that, okay, there's only 1 or 2 referencing styles in this world. There are a number of them, because even with APA and all that, people have found a way of modifying them to suit their schools and their academic context. So Harvard is also very popular, but remember, this is for Western, but actually the main thing is Harvard referencing style. Okay, so Harvard referencing style, to when you Google, it's also online. You can get a full one online. Go and read about it, or read and see how Harvard referencing styles are done. It will show you how to go about, so as I taught you, to show you how to do in-text referencing and then the referencing style. So example, you see, I've given you an example. When you in-text reference someone, citation, if you in-text cite someone, this is how you go about it. But even with that one, and also the same thing applies to APA and all the other referencing styles, they will show you when you are citing a journal, if a document is a journal, how to go about it. If the document that you are citing is a book, if the thing that you are citing is an online news article, or it's a website that you are trying to cite, they have given examples of how to go about all of them. Okay, good. The next one, which is also very popular, is what we call MLA, which is Modern Language Association, if I'm not wrong. I think so. So MLA is also very popular. I think from what I know, when I was doing my undergrad and master's, those who are into social sciences, they use MLA a lot. They use MLA a lot. It's also very popular in that research area. So you can also look at it if in case you want to use MLA referencing style. Then we have Vancouver. Vancouver is also very popular. So you can also download Vancouver. And then we have another one called Chicago. Chicago is also very popular. Chicago is also very popular. You can also use Chicago as well. Then we have LC. This one I've not used this before, so I don't know much about it. But even I think from the name is more of Australian Guide to Legal Citation. This is more of like those who are into legal review. And even this one was put together by University of Melbourne. So even this one, you see, once again, as I told you, we have types of referencing styles. So you need to find out where you are going to submit your work or whoever you are going to give your work to. You have to find out from the person, the referencing style that the person is comfortable with. So that you don't put your work together, you send the work to the person will tell you, I don't like this or I don't need this. Okay, so these are some of the examples. I think when you look at the University of Melbourne, this is Melbourne that I saw. I think one of them, I saw that they also have other ones. So just a minute. Okay, just give me a minute. Make sure that you keep working hard. Yeah. I think I've covered all the parts, right? Responsibilities. Once again, let me repeat the responsibilities so that we just end this meeting. So the responsibility just seems to go through the methodology, and I expect you to do two things: look at the English construction, and then also check the the session. I think you can add one or two statements to each of the three steps. Yeah, and then David, you're supposed to look at David, Sebastina, Samuel, Franklin, Amma, and Kenneth. Look at my previous articles and look at other people's articles as well and see how these things were done. And then do the same. If you have any question, please get back to me. I will help you out. Okay, so I think that's all. Yep, that's all for today. God willing, we'll meet again. Another time. I want to repeat this thing once again. If you have any question, anything, get back to me on WhatsApp. Or if it's important that I schedule another meeting where we all meet, I'll do that so that I prepare and come and help you guys out. Okay, so please take care. God bless. Bye.